Trouble, Dad.
What do you mean, trouble?
It's Julie. She's here.
Julie?
And she intends to stay. She's got a suitcase with her.
What?
Don't worry. I told her it was out of the question. She can't stay here. Not now we've got things running smoothly.
She certainly can't. Running smoothly? You call this running smoothly?
You know what I mean. This is a bachelor pad. There's no room for girls. Besides, quite frankly, I think she's got a nerve coming back here after 7 years.
She certainly has. Wait a minute. Isn't that what you did?
Yeah. And that's why she's come, to safeguard her interests.
Her interests?
Her inheritance. Well, let's face it, Dad, you're not going to live forever. One day you're going to pop off. Don't get me wrong. I hope you have a long and happy life. Long and happy. In fact, I don't even like to think about it.
It's funny, neither do I.
Look, when you go, well, this house should be worth a bit. Then there's your insurance. Your estate could come to a considerable sum. I don't know what's in the will. Suppose you have made a will.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good. Makes things so much easier. You don't want to die intestate?
No, that'd be stupid.
Well, we've always assumed we get a third each.
We?
Frank, Julie and me.
Well, you sit around talking about my will.
No! Not all the time, but it has cropped up. And I suppose because I'm closer to you than the others, she thinks I may be coming in for more.
Does she really?
Oh, I know it's an ugly thought, but that's what it's like in families. Children can be very mercenary, wrangling over the deathbed before the body's barely cold.
Yes, well, let me put your mind at rest, Matthew. There won't be anything to come because I intend to spend it all on riotous living.
You can't spend it all, Dad.
Why not?
You'll need to save something for your old age. And then, as you grow older, you'll need less because your appetites will diminish. Unless you need full-time nursing.
I know. You've made me realise something, Matthew. I should be living my life right now, to the full.
No, live it to the full later, Dad. It'll be cheaper.
No, I'm going to live it right now. I'm not waiting for it to come out in paperback. And if there's anything left over, I'm going to leave it to the Bowls Club.
Good for you, Dad. You tell her that.
Don't you worry, I will.
Yes, I tried to warn her. I said you'd changed. You're not a daddy dumpling anymore. Dumpling? That's what she used to call you. And didn't you used to have a name for her? A real girly name. What was it?
I don't remember.
Of course you don't, because you've changed. You've been hurt. She won't be able to twist you around a little finger anymore. I told her. He hasn't forgotten the way you all abandoned him.
I certainly haven't. I remember the day she left. She had a new skipping rope with silver bells on the handles. Wouldn't even listen to me. Just kept skipping round the furniture. Well, if she thinks she can come back here now...
Hello.
Who's this?
It's me, Dumpling.
Don't call me that.
Don't call him that.
It's Julie. Don't you recognise me?
No. You've put on weight.
I know. I'm thinking of going on a diet.
Good, we've just eaten.
You're too young to go on a diet. Besides, you might become anorexic, and I've got enough problems. What you need is the right food and regular exercise. Done any skipping lately?
Skipping?
You would.
Yes, I seem to remember you were very fond of that. When you left this house 7 years ago, you didn't walk out, you skipped. Didn't even say goodbye.
Not even goodbye.
Your last words were salt, mustard, vinegar, pepper.
I didn't realise what was happening. I was only 9.
That's no excuse.
No excuse.
You knew. Frank was too young, and Matthew, well, he was always a bit slow.
What?
But you were the brightest. I expected more from you. I thought we could talk together. Remember those long walks we took? And we talked about the future? How we planned your career in neurosurgery? All those dreams we had?
Yes, I remember. You promised me a pony.
You haven't come back for it, have you?
No, you don't understand.
Oh, no, of course I don't understand. No, isn't that what the judge said? A parent lacking in warmth and understanding. It was the talk of the neighbourhood. Have you any idea what it was like, going out there, mowing those lawns, lacking in warmth and understanding?
Any idea what it was like?
Wait a minute. Is it my imagination, or is there an echo in here?
Do you mind if I sit down?
Why?
I'm tired.
Typical of the younger generation. No stamina. Couple of hours on a train and you're tired.
I didn't come by train. I hitchhiked.
What? Julie, how many times have I warned you about accepting lifts from strangers?
Right.
Move out of that chair, man.
What?
What made you do it? Anything could have
I
happened.
was perfectly safe.
Julie, no woman is safe on the roads these days. Even the nuns travel in pairs. And dress like that. If you're going to hitchhike, you should wear something shapeless.
I didn't have time to think about it, and I didn't have any money.
No money?
Dad, she's smoking.
What?
Smoking. In here.
Yes, pass her an ashtray, Matthew. You should have money. I send some every month.
It doesn't go very far. A little makeup, perfume, a few clothes. Of course, they resent me spending it on things like that.
Oh, do they? Well, why shouldn't you? After all, you're a young lady these days. Can't they see that?
They don't seem to want me to grow up.
No, well, your mother wouldn't. She's still trying to pass for 35. What made you come here?
I needed your advice.
Oh, I see. Don't they give you advice?
No, they just get on to me all the time. They resent my friends, my clothes, my social life. I thought if I could stay here for a couple of days.
Oh, well, I'm afraid the spare room's a bit of a mess, Julie.
Uninhabitable.
I suppose you could use Matthew's room.
What?
And he could take a sleeping bag into the spare room. It's only for a couple of days. Do you know, you do look tired. Why don't you go and have a nice hot bath and I'll bring your case up?
Oh, thanks, Dumpling. I knew you'd understand. You always do.
Yeah, that's all right, kitten.
Mwah.
Kitten? Well,
What?
you certainly told her.
I couldn't turn her away, could I? After all, she's my daughter. Daughter. Yes, I didn't realise I had an attractive daughter. Mind you, I shouldn't be surprised. Takes after me.
You?
Yes, my side of the family always had the looks. Yes, I could show you a picture of me. Bare legs, ringlets, held in a teddy. Be amazed at the resemblance. It's uncanny. Uncanny. Yes, and she was a lovely child, too, with that golden ponytail and the sweetest smile you ever saw. She was such an affectionate child. Everybody's darling.
Affectionate? What about the time she creosoted the dog?
That was just a childish prank.
The dog didn't think so. It was almost rigid. If I'd been quick with the Terps, it'd still been standing in that garage. Could have used him as an ornament. You never punished her, though, did you? You never hit her.
I don't believe in that. I believe in reason.
You hit me.
Yes, well, there's any way I could get through to you.
Remember the first time you hit me? I was fighting with her.
Yes, I remember. And I was sorry, but I had to defend her, didn't I? Can't hit girls.
Why not?
Why not, indeed? Never worried you did it. And you got her in the end. Got her with that building brick. Did you notice that mark on her forehead? There to this day. Scarred.
That's right. Take her side. She was always your little favourite.
Wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight. I never had any favourites. You were all treated equally. And while she's in this house, you'll find you'll both be treated in exactly the same way. Now go and move your stuff out. Wonder if she'd like some flowers. Yeah. Yes, I think I'll go and pick some flowers.
Mr. Willows.
Yes, Enid.
I know some people think I'm just a menial round here.
You're not a menial.
A faceless drudge
You're not a faceless drudge.
and an interfering busybody.
You're not a faceless drudge. What's the matter? What's happened?
When I left that kitchen this morning, it was gleaming. You could have eaten off the floor.
Well,
Now it looks as if someone has.
that's probably Matthew. You know what he's like.
It wasn't Matthew. I know Matthew. He's congealed egg, squashed beans, and splattered fat. No, this was something new. Spaghetti hoops, yogurt, and abandoned apple cores. I'm afraid it was the young lady.
You mean Julie? Did you say anything to her?
I tried. I suggested that while she was here, she might like to help in the kitchen, do a little ironing, possibly some sewing.
And?
She laughed in my face and called me a name.
A name? What was it?
I can't repeat it.
Well, I have to know, Enid. Could you write it down?
I'm not sure I could spell it.
What was it?
Eunuch.
What?
A female eunuch.
Well, what that means...
I know what it means. A eunuch is someone who is allowed into the harem having been rendered harmless by a certain rearrangement. It is no way to address a woman who has led a full married life. I insist on an apology.
Of course. Julie!
I knew there'd be trouble.
Keep
Has she been rude?
Julie!
You gonna hit her?
What's the matter, Dumpling?
Julie, you called Mrs. Thompson a name that has wounded her very deeply.
Oh, you mean female eunuch?
Yes, and I insist on an apology.
I can't do that, Dumpling.
Can't you?
Hit her, Dad.
It's a question of principle.
You want the hairbrush?
What principle?
She suggested I did the chores. And I want to know what law of the universe, what decree of nature makes me responsible for the ironing and sewing. Why not Matthew?
You're a girl.
I'm a person, Matthew, in my own right.
Yes, well, that's true. Yes, she's a person. In her own right.
I was merely pointing out that Enid is in danger of becoming a sexual stereotype.
You're doing it again?
I intend to choose my own role in life, and I won't have one forced on me by male prejudice.
Well, you've got a point there. She has got a point there. And very well expressed. Hadn't thought of it like that. Yes, but don't speak to Mrs. Thompson like that again, Julie. She doesn't understand. She hasn't done sociology.
If you say so, Dumpling.
That's a good girl.
I thought you were gonna tell her off.
I did.
That wasn't a telling off. There was nothing like a telling off. When I get told... What are you looking at me like that for?
What do you like at sewing? You know, I've missed this.
What?
Reading together. We always used to do this on a Sunday afternoon. Very restful.
All right, where is it?
Where's what?
My Adrian Mole.
Why do you want it?
I want to read it.
But you've read it 6 times.
I don't care. I want to read it again.
You must know it by heart.
It's my book. It was on my shelf, and I want it.
But you've read it 6 times.
That doesn't mean she can take it without asking.
You take it without asking?
Yes.
Well, you shouldn't have done that. Why didn't you ask?
Because he'd have said no.
Well, not if you've asked in a reasonable manner. Now ask him. Go on.
Matthew, may I borrow your book?
No. It's my book, and she turns the corners down.
All right, I'll buy you a new copy.
When?
Tomorrow, in hardback, right?
No, I want that one.
All right, Julie, if he's going to be petty, give him the book.
And what about my Bruce Springsteen?
What about her Bruce Springsteen?
That's mine.
You mean you took it?
You swapped it for my grey sweater.
No, I didn't. You gave me that sweater because it was too small.
No, I didn't.
All right, he can give you the Bruce Springsteen and you can return the sweater.
Oh, yeah, now it's got a hole in the sleeve.
There was a hole before.
No, there wasn't.
Look, I'm getting tired of this. If you're not prepared to accept the return of the sweater so that she can have her Bruce Springsteen, give it a rest.
What about my book?
Give him the book.
Certainly. And you can forget about the Bruce Springsteen.
Good girl.
Just let me have the £5.
What, £5?
The £5 I loaned you, remember? You signed an IOU.
Have you got it with you?
No.
Then you can't prove it.
Wait a minute. If she says you owe her £5, you shouldn't have to prove it.
Oh, that's right. Take her word against mine.
She doesn't lie, Matthew.
I see, and I suppose I do.
Do you owe her £5?
I might.
I see. Well, for a little peace and quiet, I will pay Julie the £5 and replace the Bruce Springsteen, and I'll get you a new sweater, right?
Right.
Glad that's settled.
except for the book.
Give him the book.
I want that book.
Leave her alone, Matthew.
That's right.
Matthew.
You little darling.
Rat bag!
Creep.
Pig face!
Cow.
Don't you call your sister that.
Oh, that's right. Protect her. Ah, she just kicked me.
No, she didn't. She kicked me.
Don't you spank her. Oh, well, if I want
You
to.
were... Oh!
I knew you'd do that. You shouldn't hit people on the head. You could damage the brain.
What brain?
Matthew.
Having a quiet Sunday afternoon.
Matthew,
Don't talk to me.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. You've made a mark.
You've been rubbing it.
You lost your temper.
I just hate to see you two fighting. She is your sister.
Don't care.
It should mean something.
Well, it doesn't.
Look, it's perfectly normal for a brother and sister to bicker and squabble. Perfectly normal. But deep down, I mean really deep down, don't you feel something for her?
Really deep down.
Yeah.
No.
Well, then you should. I'll tell you something. I always wanted a sister.
You can have mine.
When I was your age, I wanted a sister like Julie. Someone I could look out for, someone to protect, to be proud of.
You were proud of her, all right. When we were out together in the pram, who was always held up to be admired? She was.
She was a pretty baby.
I know, and I was the ugly brother. Surprised you didn't take me out with a bag over my head.
No, you weren't ugly. Just sort of nondescript.
Whose fault was that? I was neglected. She always had the top off the milk, I didn't. Even her orange juice was stronger than mine. I know, I tasted it. It's a wonder I grew up at all. I was starved of affection.
No, you weren't.
Even when we went on the train, she had to have the seat by the window. I never got the seat by the window.
Well, that's not important now. What is important is that you're related. That means something.
You were related to Mother, and look what happened.
But only by marriage. I had no more in common with your mother than the woman I stand next to at the bus queue.
Which woman's that?
Doesn't matter which woman. I'm talking biologically. I had no relationship with your mother.
That's not what I heard.
I mean, we weren't related by blood.
But I don't like any of our relatives. I prefer friends. You can choose your friends.
Matthew, how many times have I told you? Friends can let you down. It's a harsh world. One day you'll be in trouble.
Will I?
Perhaps divorce, drink, drugs, even on the run.
Oh, you've got a lot of confidence in me, haven't you?
Your friends will melt away. You'll have no one to turn to but your sister. That's when you'll need her.
Yeah, and I suppose when she's in trouble, she'll need me. Say, divorce, drink, drugs, with child. That's when she can come to me.
Well, yes. Well, that's hardly likely to happen, is it?
Why not?
Well, she's not that type of person.
But I am. You take it outside again, you always do. And don't come up here saying you're sorry because you're not.
Of course I'm sorry. I've just broken an original recording of Grieg's piano concerto. Matthew!
Mr. Willows.
Enid, do you have a brother?
Yes.
Are you fond of him?
Fond of him?
Yes, I mean deep down. Really deep down. Are you fond of him?
Really deep down.
Yeah.
No, I can't stand him. I mean, I'd do anything for him, but that's not the same, is it? I've never forgiven him for a certain act of greed.
Greed?
When Father died, he went straight to the garden shed and walked off with his lawnmower. He pushed it 5 miles home. I've never forgiven him for that. And then there was the silver.
Did you want something, Enid?
Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. Your ex rang. She's out of her mind with worry. Apparently, Julie left without a word. They didn't know where she'd gone. They've even had the police out looking for her. Never thought she'd come here. They were thinking of dragging the canal.
What? Julie?
Would you like me to stay?
No.
Yes, dumpling.
Never mind about the dumpling.
What's the matter?
Apparently your mother didn't know you were here. She's been worried sick.
I don't care.
Well, that's not very considerate, is it?
Well, she's not very considerate.
Well, what's happened?
We had a row.
What about?
Oh, I wanted to go on the pill.
Yeah, well, that's no reason to... At your age?
All right, there's no need to shout. After all, it's my body.
Your body. You've only just got it.
I don't see what all the fuss is about. They're all on it at school.
All? Come on. There must be one or two still holding out.
I knew you wouldn't understand.
But you're too young, Julie. What's the urgency? You haven't... You're not...
No, I'm not. I haven't been, but...
But you're thinking about it.
No.
Then why?
Well, you wear a seatbelt, but it doesn't mean you're going to have an accident.
No. They say you drive faster. You've only got one body, Julie. It's important to you. One day could be important to someone else. So when the time comes, just make sure it's not a physical wreck.
When the time comes. Didn't you ever have desires when you were my age?
Oh, yes, I had desires. And they were usually frustrated. Hasn't done me any harm.
That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, well, all right. But I know one thing. You always have to pay the price in this world. There's a price for everything. If you know the price, and you're prepared to pay it, that's fine. But until then, forget about the pill. If you're ever in that situation, take a glass of water.
Does that work?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, before or after?
No, instead of. I want you to phone your mother and apologise.
What for?
For scaring her half to death.
I certainly won't.
You will, and that's an order.
Take your hands off me!
Come on, I mean it. Oh! That's the second time you've done that. Right. I am going to do something I should have done years ago.
No!
Come on.
No!
On my knee.
What do you think you're doing? Hands off her.
What?
It was going to hit me!
All right, leave this to me, sis.
Sis?
You can't hit her.
What do you mean? I'm a father.
That's no excuse. You haven't seen her in 7 years. It wouldn't stand up in a court of law. In fact, you're in a very tenuous legal position. Looked more like an unprovoked attack to me.
She kicked me.
Well, you could have reasoned with her. There's no need to resort to violence. It's no sooner the word than the blow with you.
He hasn't
You
changed.
don't need to tell me that. Get your things, sis. I'll take you to the station.
Sis? Did you see her to the train?
Yeah,
She all right?
yeah. Oh, and she says she forgives you.
Oh, that's a relief.
And she's sorry she kicked you.
So am I. What's that you're reading?
You mean this?
Yeah, looks very official.
It's your will. I just happened to come across it in the trunk.
You've been in my trunk?
Yeah. And all I want to say is, thanks, Dad,
What for?
for treating us all equally. You've been fair and I appreciate it. It was never the money. I was never interested in that. It was the principle. Just to know you cared for me as much as the others.
Of course.
By the way, it isn't witnessed. I get that scene to be if I were you, just in case.